Good morning, everybody. I'm Barbara Battisti, and I'm calling from St. Petersburg, Florida. And I'm here today just to share with you some amazing tips, techniques, and things on how to have a better way, a better life. And one of the things that I've found is that this complete sleep system, right here, da-da-da-da, this is my way of doing it, has transformed my life. So sleeping has been an amazing thing. And we have a topper, a comforter, and a pillow. And I like to add the eye mask because all night long you rejuvenate, recuperate, and detoxify. So that's just a little sampling of what we do with Nikken and bringing wellness into our homes on a daily basis. But it's my privilege and my honor to introduce Temple Hayes. She's my wife, my life partner, and also an amazing spiritual leader, coach, shaman, just all about people being the best that they can be. So what better way is to have her on and to share with us for a moment this morning. So go ahead, Temple, take it away. And she is an author and a lot of other things, so we can always check that out down the road.
Yeah, just keep it simple. You can go to my website, templehayes.com. So I also have been and experienced the great benefits of Nikken for about 20 plus years, and use all the products that are available and have experienced just the joy and the zest and the invigorating spirit from using everything on a daily basis. And I'm real committed to that. But what I've been asked to speak about today is the power of listening and the effectiveness of listening. And what we know for sure is many of us early on either did S training or Carnegie training of how to listen. When a person is talking to you, then do your best to be present and do your best not to think about what you're going to be saying as soon as they finish what they're saying, right? I mean, sometimes you find that to be a real practice because you get so excited, or you have a frame of reference, or you want to go, yeah, well, I know, and well, I had this happen. And so you're holding on to kind of let the sentences evolve, and to wait for certain pauses within the listening. In our culture, and especially in my community, as in spiritual community or in Nikken community, we get real excited because we know in our hearts the reason we do what we do. We're very mission-based, and we have the answer. And we just can't wait to tell you what that answer is, or how to help, or often how to fix. You know, we get so engaged in that. And so in the early phases for me, listening was doing my best not to tell them, well, you think that's a big deal, let me tell you what mine is. You know, or gosh, I understand, you know, you've had this loss. Well, I had 6 losses, you know, previous years before. So we want to start talking about ourselves, or we're thinking about our conversation behind the layer of the conversation that they're giving. And, or, you know, we want to interact or ask questions, which can be wonderful. And yet, if we're not really tuned in to their hearts, the questions we ask them send them on a very different journey. Does that make sense to all of you? Do you identify with what I'm saying? It can be just by nodding your head.
Yeah.
So that's a way that we were taught. It's a way that we learn listening. But I'm wanting to talk about today a deeper listening. And so when you are with someone one-on-one, or you're with someone on a call, then inside yourself, you make the declaration, hello from my heart. Say it out loud, everybody, even though you're muted. Hello
from my heart.
Hello from my heart. And you'll notice as you said that your energy shifted. It already changed. So listening, often, immediately people go, oh yeah, you're talking about my ears. real listening comes from inside. It comes from the heart. It comes from the ability to really connect with someone at a deep level. Okay, so I'll give you an example. I was talking to a young woman the other night that she asked to talk to me and Zoom with me because she has had problems with depression. And so we get on the call, I'm going inside myself, hello from my heart, and she begins to talk about her story. Basically I've been depressed all my life. She has a small child, she's married, and she's carrying a baby that's due in August. And so that's kind of her story. And it's real. So I'm totally about that. But in her talking about depression, if it had been the me that, 20 years ago, just using listening skills, I would have said, well, there's a product for that. Or, how about maybe see a psychologist, or let's talk about the medication. But I just stayed with her sharing and her talking, and I began to listen at a deeper level. And what I got was, I said, what I'm really getting is that your mom is a strong energy in your life. Am I correct? And she said, yes, very strong. And I said, and your mom has been depressed all her life. Am I right? And she goes, yes, she has. And I said, well, what I'm getting is about 65% of the depression you're carrying is not yours. You've been toting hers most of your life. And big crocodile tears started coming from her eyes, and she began to weep. And what was so profound is you could see the freedom coming back into her body. She was toting luggage that wasn't her luggage to tote. And so all I'm saying is, I'm not saying I'm a professional advisor. I'm just saying this is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing this from you. Does that resonate with you? And then allowing the person to talk more, or share more, or connect more. That's really the depth and how we can really be here, for humanity and for one another. And it's crucial that we learn how to listen. I remember early on in Nikken, and I would go to some of the conventions, and we might meet someone that's very introverted and doesn't want to be around people. And I would listen to some of the distributors, and they would immediately say, we have this meeting, we have about 100 people, and then we want you to go, and we want you to sign up for Humans Being More, and that would be really powerful for you to go to that. And I would literally just watch the introverted person just want to cover themselves up with the sheet. Do you understand what I mean? Just terrified, because an introverted extreme person, that's the last thing they're interested in, is being put in front of a room or asked to speak, or we're going to do group sharing. I got to talk about my heart. Oh, I don't think so. So it's that level of engagement, that level of being present, that we hear behind the layers. If a woman comes to me and she's talking about, thinking about, getting a Nikken, and she says, I just have such a nonstop life. I have a nonstop life. I don't know how I manage it all. I'm really doing it by myself. I have 3 kids. I can't hardly find the hour, for myself. And what do I do? Well, I'm not going to tell her, with what she's just told me, that she needs to get on 4 calls. Well, we have this call on Tuesday, we have this call on Wednesday, we have this call on Thursday, and we tend to have calls on the holiday too, because that's when most people are off. I've lost a person now because I heard what she said. I want to help. I did listen from my physical ear, but I didn't hear from my heart. My heart made no connection with her at all because I was very active thinking about how can I get her on board. And I mean well, because I want to help her. I'm of service. I'm like you, mission-based. But what we need to learn to do is the hello from my heart, and then allow more. Well, if you could have it the way that you would like it, what would that look like? Gosh, Temple, I'm so glad you asked that. If I could just talk to someone that's been through something similar to what I'm going through now, that's been a single mom, that has had the struggles, then that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to reach out to my downline. I'm going to reach out to my network, and I'm going to say which one of you is either currently or which one of you has had this experience that you are raising kids and doing everything by yourself at the same time, and what that looks like. So then I'm developing a lasting relationship. Nikken was approached to me so many times, and I'm building a large spiritual community, international traveling, full schedule. I made the schedule. I'm aware of that, but I had a lot going on, and I kept getting recruited to be in Nikken because I'm a speaker, and we love it when we have speakers come into Nikken. And I kept being approached, but I kept hearing, I got to be at this meeting, and I got to do this, and I got to do that. And I went, it doesn't work for me. It didn't work for me. My no came up because no one was hearing my heart. Yeah. But when somebody heard my heart and actually said, what's your passion? I said, my passion is that I want to live to be 150 years old. And I want to, more than anything, more than the length of years that I live, I want to be vibrant. I want, when people meet me, they go, oh my gosh, how do you have so much energy? How do you maintain so much energy? And that's my story. That's what I want. I want, in my 60s and in my 70s, in my 80s, in my 90s, in my 100s, I don't want people to say, well, you're almost dead, right? No, I want people to say, God, you are like the most alive person I've ever met in my life. And so when I shared in that level of intimacy, and Barbara and Linda Morris, Barbara Bertucci and Linda Morris heard from their hearts that that's what I'm about, then they said, we have some things that would really support your mission. Bam. And then I signed up, and then I spent $10,000, right? Johnny on the spot, right? Because it was deeper than an answer. It was deeper than a fix. It was deeper than, oh, you need to take lactoferrin. It was embracing that you saw me, not with your physical eyes, your physical ears, but with your spirit of the spirit of namaste. There's a part within me that longs to be seen by the part within you, and vice versa. Barbara, is this anywhere close to what you were seeking? Yeah. What you were identifying with, or what you were, it takes practice. It really takes practice, but it's advancing our minds and advancing our ability. It's often that people say that we only use such a small percent of our brain. And if a butterfly, it's called the butterfly effect, that a butterfly flapping its wings in Australia is felt in the US. So if that is true, and physics supports so many things as well as science, then someone on a Zoom call with me, someone on a physical call with me, someone FaceTiming with me, someone in the room with me. When we are engaged in those activities, there's a whole other layer that, in my experience, most people miss because they're busy either talking or they're busy saying to somebody, well, let me tell you what I think you said, or they're too busy like wanting to say, well, I had that too. Let me share, rather than I really want to hear. It becomes an opportunity, I think is what I'm saying. It's rare that it's practice. So it becomes an opportunity to offer someone a whole new door to open who they are, because they're getting that from everywhere else. Their parents are giving them advice, their preachers giving them advice, and in many cases, and their husband or wife is giving them advice. And it's so they get that. How are we different? How are we different?
Let's take it to today, because even that woman that you spoke of, you would have met with her before. Now you're Zooming. So let's look at today, with this, I call it hibernation, but as we slowly start to re-enter into the world,
Mm-hmm.
How do we get that intimacy, or how are you creating that with the Zooms and the one-on-one talks? I guess, is there something that you add or that you look for or you wait or anything?
No. Well, for me and my, keep in mind, I'm coaching people all over the world. So for me, I was using Skype. I was a Skyper first and then a baby Zoomer, So I was a Skyper first. And quite frankly, unless it's soul retrieval or something immensely intimate, I prefer this kind of visual aid, because when I'm talking to someone and I'm engaging with them, I find this to be the most ideal situation. So this isn't a block with me or an obstacle. This is my preferred preference. If someone doesn't have FaceTime, or they don't know how to do Zoom, which is, as we're all showing, it's a real simple process, then I urge them to learn Skype or something, because I prefer this over audio. I also prefer it then in person, because there's not the external things that are in the way. So I have found my listening to the heart more pronounced through the years, through the camera experience. And it's much more effective because there's nothing else in the way. We're not looking at a clock. We didn't hear a noise in the room. I'm not so much into somebody's physiological responses. I'm more looking at this level.
And that underlines something for me too, is you've got the one-on-one, you've got this attention for this moment. And
Yes.
So if you can't, like answering the phone, and I just get so aggravated when people answer the phone and they don't want to. And they're like, well, I really can't talk right now. So it's like, well, let me have just left the message, like don't answer, be ready, be prepared, and honor this time. And I think there is an honoring that occurs with Zoom. So maybe we are getting to a deeper level quicker because we have this one-on-one versus, remember, we used to do the rollouts and have that intimate time with somebody, and we don't have that right now. So now it's building a trust factor in a whole different way. And I think it takes more than one time, maybe 7 times, or I don't know how many connects it is before someone says, I'm ready to buy. And I know even for you, it was many years before you did jump in and get the products and stuff. But it was really taking time to hear you, because you were traveling the globe and that's where your energy was. And you weren't even going to be home to use it. Except now with the water bottle, possibly that would have been a really good thing to have back then. We didn't have that. But anyway, well, thank you so much. It's awesome. It's great. And I'm so privileged to have you on. I think this was a great eye opener for people to really look and listen and hear what people are saying from the
Okay.
inside.
I would like to just say that
Yeah.
I've had the privilege of serving a very fast-paced growing community over the last 15 years, and we're global now. And the reason it happened was not to pursue, I got to get somebody here and they got to come in and we got to make them a member. It was coming from the space of is that in our culture, since the beginning of time, since the first heartbeat, since the first mother heartbeat that you hear, the first drum, the first sacred relationship has been gathering of people. And it's magical. And that's part of our healing process. It's part of our energetic self. It's what invigorates our lives. So when we approach people to get involved at First Unity Spiritual Campus, I'm not saying, please come in, we want to get you enrolled. We want to have you sign up. We want you to be a member. We're just like, peek in, watch us online, experience us, and get to see the kind of energy and the kind of leaders that we have that you can surround you and your family by. Bam. And then they peek in. And to me, that is the most amazing part. The over and beyond blessings of what Nikken offers is you get to, it'd be very tired to be old and weary around Nikken people, because they're like they're like magnets, pun intended, but they're also like glow bunnies, and they're just so invigorated and you want more of it. And so for me, it's asking myself the question, what is the new question that I need to ask to continue to grow my mission? And that answer, the question has changed and the answer has changed. And for all of us, it's important when we talk about listening to the heart of someone else, that we listen to the heart of ourselves. You see, and to find that space of the heart. We have an institute, the Institute for Leadership and Lifelong Learning. It's called International, and it's called ILLI.org. And Barbara Bertucci teaches a class on there about, a vibrant life and an energetic, healthy life. And that would be another door. Maybe you don't want to send somebody right to a meeting about distributorship and all that, but you find different windows. Anyway, thank you. And I appreciate you asking me to be here. And I believe in all of you. And I'm so grateful you're trailblazers out there. And you're keeping the Nikken flame alive, because it works. It's necessary. It's essential, as we would say in current times. And I've been very grateful to be part of it.
Thank you so much for taking this time this morning. We are so blessed to have you. And just as my little clause, I've got to say that we're all independent Nikken distributors. We are not Nikken headquarters or anything like that, but we're just here to help and train and get the word out. So,
well, you are the reason they have a headquarters. So I'll just say that recorded. There is no headquarters without all of you. Let's don't ever confuse that, okay?
Thank you, Temple Hayes. Go to templehayes.com and also check out some more. Okay, thanks.